Welcome everyone to today's webinar. You have a lot of faces on your screen. I'm really excited to share with you our study programs that we're going to feature today. Before we get started today with all of our guest speakers and our presentations, I'm going to give you a very short explanation of how it works. So my name's Jasmine. I'm from MyGermanUniversity. I have my colleague here, Annette, who I will introduce in more detail shortly. We're going to talk for a few minutes at the beginning, and then I'm going to hand it over after 5 minutes or so to our first guest speaker. So we have 3 universities here today, which are going to feature 3 specific degree programs related to industrial engineering, which is the topic of today's webinar. I do know that these programs also have other study programs. Please try to focus on today's study programs. They might not be as informed when it comes to other topics, but of course, feel free to ask whatever you like, and they will answer as best as they can. You can do that in Zoom by using the question and answer function. It's at the very bottom bar in Zoom, and we will get to your questions in the order that they're sent. You cannot use the chat, but please pay attention to it because all of our panelists today can use the chat, and they'll be sharing information with you, links to their study programs, and other important details. So let me quickly introduce our universities today before they kind of go in the background and rejoin us for their presentations. So first we have Deggendorf Institute of Technology. They have a big team with us today, and guest speaking is going to be Professor Raimund Brotsack. He's the Professor of Renewable Resources and Bioenergy at the Deggendorf Institute of Technology, and he's going to be talking about the Bachelors of Engineering and Industrial Engineering. After that, we're going to have the Kiel University of Applied Sciences, and there we have Stefan Eghbalian. He's the Managing Director of Industrial Engineering, the Industrial Engineering program at Kiel, and he's going to talk about the Master of Science in Industrial Engineering. And finally, we have the Technical University of Applied Sciences, Wildau, and speaking today will be Professor Dr. Jens Wollenweber, and he's the Professor for Transportation Logistics at the Technical University of Applied Sciences, Wildau, and he'll talk about the Master of Engineering and Technical Management. So that was a lot. You will hear from all of them shortly, but please note that they can see all of your questions. We also have some students here. So we have some students from Deggendorf. If you are wondering about student life and have particular questions about that, feel free to ask them and our students here can answer them. So for now, we'll say bye to our guest speakers. They will come back shortly for their presentations. They're gonna now turn off their microphones and cameras. And I'm going to pass it over to my colleague, Annette, who is going to take 1 minute to tell you a little bit about MyGermanUniversity for those of you who are wondering who we are and what we're doing if it's your first webinar with us.
Thank you very much. Welcome also from my side to our participants and also to the university representations. My name is Annette and I'm a German student. I'm studying International Cultural and Business Studies at the University of Passau, which is in the south of Germany. So I did my bachelor's there and now my master's. In between, I had a year break and I was working half a year at the DAAD, which is the German Academic Exchange Service. And there I the first time entered into the topic of helping international students to come to the way to Germany. So this will be my part in this webinar and the moderation. I seen you already asking your questions. That's great. So don't hesitate. You can ask also questions like more general ones, and the topic specific ones will be answered by our guest speakers. Okay, so for those of you who are visiting us for the first time, I will briefly introduce MyGermanUniversity. And just 1 second. Okay, now you can see it. Sorry. Okay, so today we have this special webinar about a specific programs you can find in Germany, because as you see here, there are more than 2,000 bachelor's and master's degree programs in English. And this is also what you can find on our website. So if you enter mygermanuniversity.com in the browser, you will be linked to our website, and at the beginning there's the study finder. So this is basically where you can start to look for programs, the English taught ones, and there are different filters. Jasmine later on will briefly explain you how the higher education system in Germany works in general. I will continue. We have also more than 70 comprehensive articles on different topics. So really take a little bit of time and go through these. There might be a lot of answers to your questions. Now, MyGermanUniversity has the aim to help you. We therefore prepared webinars to different topics. And I'd like to say today, since we have this subject webinar, this is basically for me the best outcome of MyGermanUniversity, because it is the bridge between you as students and the universities, and we can build this communication. So really take the advantage of it, ask the questions you have specifically to the programs and universities. And here are some faces. This is the team of MyGermanUniversity. I think there's only Raphael, and the other ones all studied in Germany. Some of them coming from Germany as me, or most of them as international students, as Jasmine, for instance. Okay, and we have also webinars in different languages, since we're an international team. Okay, so I'm really curious now to have our presentations, and I will hand it over to you, Jasmine, and we'll go into the background and answer the questions. Bye.
Thanks so much for that brief intro. Annette, I also won't take too much time. I just have maybe a 4 to 5 minute presentation for those of you who are not as familiar with the German higher education system. A little bit about me. As you can tell by my, I'm sure, awful accent, I'm originally from the United States. I'm not originally from Germany, but I have been here for 6 years. I came here when I was awarded a research fellowship from the Alexander von Humboldt Foundation. They are a funding institution based in Bonn. After my research fellowship, where I performed research on cybersecurity and data protection policy at a think tank in Berlin, I completed after that my master's here as well in international relations and global governance. And now I help students find a similar path and inform them on how they can come and study in Germany. So let's go ahead and get started. I'm going to just very briefly cover some main details about studies in Germany. And then after that, we're going to switch it over to our guest speakers for today. I have them listed here and their study programs. Please note, you can already send all of the questions using the Q&A function if you're in Zoom. If you're joining us on Facebook, welcome. You can also come into Zoom. I posted the Zoom ID. If you want to have the interactive experience and post questions and use the Q&A, come join us in Zoom where you can do that. Okay, so these are our guest speakers. They will join us shortly. So first, I want to show you where you can find study programs if you don't know how to do that. And you should note that international students, which students from outside of Germany, they can study here in German. So even though all of you, I'm sure, are interested in English top programs, not all international students want to come to Germany to study in English. A lot of them want to come here to study in German. Maybe they already have some German skills and and it's more advanced than their English, or for whatever reason. So just note that students can also study in German. And if that is you, you can find all of the German taught programs you're interested on Hochschulkompass. This is the official database from the German Rectors Conference of Higher Education. So this should be your very first resource that you're visiting if you're looking for German taught programs. As you can see here, they have 562 degree programs for industrial engineering. They do have some English programs as well, but they are going to be the best resource when it comes to German programs. For English programs, of course, I'm going to recommend our Study Finder, which is the most comprehensive and largest database for English taught programs. There are other databases you can use. Feel free. The DAAD has an education program database that you can also use, for example, and the Hochschulkompass also has English taught programs. They just don't have as many on their platforms. So that's why I recommend ours, but feel free to use all three, and you can compare information because sometimes some information is more updated on one site than another. Here on our platform, you can see we have 58 degree programs in industrial engineering. And this English only just means that some programs combine English and German. Please make sure you are filtering for English only programs if that is what you are looking for. So some things to note, if you are interested in any rankings, tuition fee information, language requirements, and so on, you can also find all of that in one neat place on our subjects page. Just click on industrial engineering. But that being said, make sure that you are looking for the right program for you. Many students from abroad are interested in only the top ranked universities. And while that is great, just note that the higher education system in Germany is a little bit more flat in terms of its hierarchy when it comes to international or just within Germany national rankings. So you can search for those, of course, but I wouldn't base my entire decision of where I went to study just on top ranking institutions. One, because they're incredibly competitive, but also it doesn't mean that it's the best program for you. So please look at all universities, don't be guided by a city. I know so many students say, well, I have to study in Berlin or I need to be in Munich. There are more than 2 cities in Germany. So please make sure you look at these other cities and these other programs. Don't just follow popular names. So first things to note, this is very general. There are more subcategories that I'm not providing today, but I just want to keep this short and sweet. So first is the type of education, higher education institutions. And again, there's more subcategories, but I'm breaking it down here into 2. And the first one is an Universität, or a university. And here I put some examples of some universities that you might not, that you might have heard of. There's also private and public universities, and there's also technical universities. Again, this is just a subcategory. And I'll explain the differences and similarities shortly. So this is maybe the more traditional idea of what you think of when you think of a study institution in Germany for higher education. And the second one you should know of is a University of Applied Science, or a Fachhochschule. And so many students ask, well, which one is better? Which one is going to get me a job? Which one has the better degree? And the answer is that neither of them, they're equal when it comes to your degree or your employability. It just depends what type of learning and teaching methods that you want for your program. So if you're looking for something that's more research-based, maybe you're looking at a more theoretical program that's going to require more research, you might be looking for a university instead of a University of Applied Science. The only big difference would be that universities can confer doctoral programs, but that has been changing recently. Many universities of applied sciences now have doctoral programs, whether it's individually or as a partner with a university. So again, that's why here there's a slash, because that's not really quite as relevant or true today, that this used to be a very big difference. And now that slowly that line is thinning now. And again, this is going to be a more technical and practical approach at a University of Applied Science. So for those of you who are interested, something that's more hands-on, something with a traineeship, universities of applied sciences usually have collaborations with big companies. They partner with them for internships, traineeships, and so on. So it just depends on the type of study program you're looking for and the type of learning that you want to have in your program. So again, this is just a brief overview. Whenever you are searching, just you can see here, we break it down by tuition, duration, and kind of just some main details for you. But I've spoken enough. I said I would keep it short, so I want to go ahead and introduce our first guest speaker for today. We have Professor Raimund Brotsack, and again, he's a professor for renewable resources and bioenergy at the Deggendorf Institute of Technology. And I put a map here for those of you who don't know where that is. As I said, there are more than 2 cities in Germany, and you can see here it's in the southeast corner of Germany. So I will go ahead and hand it over now to Deggendorf and let them talk about their study program for today. Oh, I think your microphone is off.
Okay, sorry. No.
Yeah.
Okay, hello together. I hope you can hear me now. Welcome from my side. I will try to share my screen. I have a short presentation. Can you see this presentation now?
Yes, we do. I think you maybe you want to make it full screen though.
Okay, now?
Perfect. Now it's perfect.
Okay. So a very warm welcome from my side from the European Campus Rotterdam of Deggendorf Institute of Technology. I'm the study program leader of the study program Industrial Engineering. And I like to introduce you today in our program. From my person, I'm a chemist. I studied chemistry at the University of Regensburg, and afterwards I did my PhD work at the Technical University of Munich. And since 2013, I'm a professor at the Deggendorf Institute of Technology. The aim now is to introduce you our new, it is since 2016 now, our program, Bachelor of Engineering, Industrial Engineering. Some general informations about the program itself. The application period is in April until the 5th of July, so you are free to apply for this program now, because we are just in the application period. The program itself starts in October. So the 1st of October, the first semester is starting, hopefully now after COVID in real presence, but that has to be decided in the next weeks or months. The course language is English, and the duration of these studies is 7th semester, inclusive 1 internship. So our students, we are a University of Applied Sciences, are always asked to do an internship together with a company in the industry to get familiar with some topics which are related to industrial engineering. The fees are generally none. There is only 1.62 euros per semester for some services which we are offering to our students. I think this is affordable. The location is the European Campus Rotterdam. It's in the south of Germany, in the very south of Germany, even in the south of Bavaria, in Pfarrkirchen. So this is a very rural area. It's not so far to Deggendorf, which is our main university. It's an external side of our university, well, in a Rottal area, which is very nice to there. Now, I'd like to introduce you to the program itself. Well, we start with the first 2 semesters. So here we are really interested in to give you some information about the fundamentals, which are relevant to go on in industrial engineering, which is mostly, of course, in economics, because we are in industrial engineering related to economics, in IT, informatics, and very, very important mathematics. Without previous knowledge in mathematics, it's really hard to become an engineer. And then more technical oriented topics like technical mechanics. So one semester typically is 30 ECTS, which is the point you have to achieve in one semester if you do everything well, if you are passing all the exams which are offered in one semester. So at the end, normally of the 2 semesters, you will have 60 ECTS. The minimum requirement is 40. So you should really focus on that, because this is the basics for further studies in that program. And here, well, I already said, analytical principles, which is mostly related to mathematics, technical mechanics, and principles of business, you minimum once have to try to, well, to create in this module. In the semester 3 to 5, we are deepening now the contents in mathematics and now additional natural sciences. And what is one of the main topics in our program is sustainability, because we think this is really relevant for future professionals to know much about sustainability aspects in the technological field, in the social, and in the economic field. So this is the financing, of course, management, and we offer a project. There are different projects differing every year, which we are offering to our students related to current topics which are relevant in the field of industrial. And of course, then we have one semester which you could do abroad. If you're coming from a foreign country, it is not necessary to do a semester, one semester abroad, but it is recommended. And we have quite a lot of partner universities all over the world. After this 5 semester, the minimum requirement is here. Well, you should have normally 120 ECTS. And well, very important, for each module you have to do, you have maximum 3 tries to grade, to pass some of any of these exams, and you should not miss the 3rd try. And this is important because we are really looking to quality in our program. And in the 6th semester, then, if you have that minimum requirement of 120 ECTS, you're allowed to do the internship. Here we have a lot of cooperations with companies around Lower Bavaria, but not only, even to companies in Germany and Europe, where you can get into contact and do your internship. Well, this is an experience, you get on the job, and well, maybe it is even a chance for the students to get an idea how to orient yourself for the future jobs, or what you want to do, what you are willing to do, and when you get professional after the examination here in our study program. This is 20 weeks in one company, and you need one professor who is supervising this project. Normally you get a project in the company which you are responsible for, and you should report about that project at the end of that internship, and the professor who is your supervisor is grading. In the 7th semester, you come back to our campus in Pfarrkirchen, and there we are now giving you the chance to focus more to your personal interest. So you have the chance to get into different electives, which are the main point of your personal interest. We offer different electives depending on the professors and the external lecturers we have. We always offer a huge amount of electives, and you are free to select 3 of them. You should do 3 minimum. And before you are allowed to do the bachelor thesis, which should be done in the 7th semester, you need a minimum number of 150 ECTS. The overall program is 7 semesters, so you can calculate 30 ECTS for 1 semester times 7. is 210. So at the end of the program, you need 210 ECTS to get graded. In the bachelor thesis, you can do that in a research environment. We have quite a lot of different, more or less research-oriented external campus of the Deggendorf Institute of Technology. I'm now currently at one of these campus, which is in cooperation with the University of Applied Sciences in Landshut. And here we are focusing on environmental technologies, on energy storage technologies. So if you are interested more in research, there are different topics offered in research facilities we have. But that's not the only thing. You can do your bachelor thesis even in cooperation with one of the companies, maybe in the company you already did your internship, or even in one of the other companies which we are connected to, or you have an own idea, you're welcome to do it. And you need a supervisor from our university who is supervising and grading the work of your bachelor. Well, what is offered in addition to that is, of course, our program is completely taught in English. But not only this, we are really interested in to get you some training in German, because we think at the end of our program, all of our students should be able to work in a German company. And sometimes, of course, it is necessary to speak German. So we offer a lot of modules for our students to get familiar with German. Well, if you are coming from Germany, you have the chance to learn another foreign language. Another point is intercultural competence, because we are thinking for a sustainable development of our future world. It is very important to have a good connection to people all over the world, and that does not mean only be able to speak in their own language, to be able to communicate. It means more. It means a lot of intercultural competences, and there we have a really very professional colleagues focusing on such topics. And management, which is a very important soft skill for industrial engineers, because you are in between the engineers and the business people, and you should be able to talk to both of them, which means intercultural competences and management. And this is what we are offering to you, to our students, in addition. Well, having a short, brief look to the program itself, from the bottom to the top, you see the first, second, seventh semester. Here we have these principles in the first two semesters in mathematics and informatics, technical mechanics, business-related topics, physics, and of course even some soft skills, languages, mostly foreign language. And then starting from the third semester, we are deepening the knowledge in the different aspects, focusing on sustainability, on energy technologies, scientific writing, so that you're really able to write a good scientific paper. Later on, you need it in the bachelor thesis, in the projects. We always have different practical-oriented modules in every semester, lab work, for example, in the different semester. And well, in the sixth semester, you see there is internship. We have here related modules, the project related modules, where you have to present the results of your internship, mostly in PLV1 and PLV2. And in the seventh semester, you'll see there are 3 electives. Here we really can take into consideration your personal interest, and so you can focus on that what you like to. And of course, the bachelor thesis is very important in the seventh semester. And you see this orange block is all related to languages, which is very important to be able to speak English, of course, very fluently, and even German you should be able to do. some internship in a German company, and at the end of the program, even work in a German company. So what we think here is, that's just an idea in the electives I already talked about. That is what we're currently offering: more automation, modeling theory, energy markets, operational processes, globalization. So that is changing from year to year, depending on your interests and on the external lecturers. We are always very related to application, to practical usage in the industry. And here you have a few impressions about our practical work here, lab work in chemistry. The engineers get familiar with materials, with substances. We do experiments, and this is really in the lab. Therefore, we made, of course, presents, and hopefully we can do it in the next semester in Pfarrkirchen. This is hard to do it virtually. And here we see the same in physics. Here, mechanical engineering, physics, thermodynamics, a few different topics you get familiar with, not only in theoretical modules, even in practical modules. So here, a lot of our students are working. And in sustainability, you see here we're doing very often, as soon as possible, we will do it again, some excursions to different places here in the Bavarian forest. We were talking a whole weekend about different aspects in sustainability here in this module, looking to the circular economics, circular process in the nature. And this was very good to get familiar with our students in direct contact. We have a lot of companies where we are in connection to in the south of Bavaria. Of course, BMW is not far from us, Audi, Volkswagen, Deutsche Bahn, ZF, E.ON, and Siemens, Continental, Bosch. These are just a few of them where we are directly have contact to. We are doing some excursions to companies like this very small company nearby in Straubing, dealing with power to gas, new technology to transform our energy systems, more into the topic of storage and distribution of renewable energy in the gas grid. Here we use sewage gas and transform that sewage gas into natural gas. Here a visit of a BMW in Deggendorf, which is not far from Kirchen. And what is the very main topic, why to study industrial engineering? Here you see good job prospects. All of our students now, I think, got a job in the future when they graded. The interviews between engineer and business, I think, is a very important point, even for future professionals. We are really oriented to transition and sustainability, renewable energies. I think you saw it is one of the main topics we're focusing on. So you will have a good chance to get an interesting job in diverse industry. Other options are, of course, you can go on with a master in health and sustainable buildings, or these other programs which are listed here. I try to hurry up a little to be in time. Why should you study industrial engineering in Deggendorf, in Pfarrkirchen? Well, we are creating specialists for general aspects, and you have technical and business-related education. So you are really prepared, very well prepared for a lot of different professional jobs in the industry at the end. And this is our main interest, to give you a good job perspective. Well, this is very briefly the main topics: technical aspects, administration, management, languages, sustainability, and soft skills. So very good communication skills you will get. You have very cheap living costs in that rural area near Pfarrkirchen in the Straubing. It's much more cheaper, like Munich, and you have a very international campus. We are the most international campus all over Germany, because we have now more than 80 nations studying in Pfarrkirchen different programs. Now I will hand over this, well, what I said to one of our students. Diego is a student of industrial engineering of the 4th semester. And Diego, I just like to invite you to speak a few words about your personal situation and your personal interest in that program.
Thank you very much, Professor. Well, as Professor Brotsack said, I'm Diego Ortiz. I'm a 4th semester student for Bachelor of Industrial Engineering here in the DIT. And I'm here just to tell you very briefly a little bit about my experiences with the DIT and why did I choose DIT and Industrial Engineering. Let me at first give you one tip, the first tip, and it is you really have to like engineering. You really have to like engineering stuff. Because as everybody knows, the Bachelor of Industrial Engineering is not a very easy bachelor to perform. But if you are interested in engineering stuff, for sure you will succeed. For sure you will be able to pass every subject, every course, and you will even enjoy it. So why did I decide to study industrial engineering? Well, as Professor already said, engineers have great job opportunities, and you can just check it in every job finder platform or every app. There are a lot of vacancies and available spots for engineers. So that's a good reason to study industrial engineering. And why to do it in Germany? Well, as everybody knows, Germany is a reference country in the engineering field. And I thought that finishing my bachelor in a German university would provide my curriculum vitae with a very good point, with a prestige point in your curriculum. So that's a good reason to take into account. Then once I had clear that I wanted to study industrial engineering in Germany, I had to select the university. And for that, I did some research. In that research, I just saw that most of the biggest and most famous German companies in the whole country, in Germany, were located in Bayern. And I also saw that the THD, the Deggendorf Institute of Technology, was a reference university in engineering and technical stuff in Bayern. So I took a look to the programs that the university was offering, and I saw that the programs were specifically oriented and designed in the direction of the job market requirements. And all these things led me to think that I could have maybe in the future high probabilities of that one of these companies would hire me after finishing my degree. Also, the university prepares every semester different job fairs, meetings, and conferences in which the students can really get in touch with these people working for these companies. So that was the first strong point. And the second strong point was that once I decided to study fully in English, because my German at the beginning was not very good, when I was applying for it to the university, they told me that I was going to belong to the Pfarrkirchen faculty, European campus. And I did some deeper research on the European campus, and I saw that it was not a huge campus. It was a medium small size campus, and that was an advantage because the environment was really familiar, and that helps you to find any kind of solution for any kind of problem you have, or to ask questions to the professors directly. People working for the university in this campus are very close, so it's really an advantage. And also, I saw that it was a high international campus. I mean, every student studying there with you is going to be in the same situation as you, and is going to have the same problems as you. So that's that's an asset. That's really good. And that makes integration very, very easy. So these are the main reasons why I chose this Bachelor of Industrial Engineering and the Deggendorf Institute of Technology. Of course, you can always ask me or send me emails if you have any kind of doubt or you want to learn a little bit more about my experience. I will answer your questions very, very happy. And if you decide to take part in the European campus, we will see there each other. So thank you very much.
Thank you, Diego, for this short comment about your personal interests while you were studying industrial engineering. Well, we asked another student, but he unfortunately he didn't get the link, or there was some mistake. Marcelo is another one. He's already finished with his study program. Now he's on the way to get a professional. But I excuse, he is not here as far as I can see. So we just go on. Well, Diego already said it is starting completely in English, so everyone who is able to speak English at the different levels is welcome. You are able to do a job in Germany at the end of the program, because it is really focused on learning German in this 7th semester, and we have a strong focus on sustainability. We are the most international campus in all over Germany, as far as I know, and maybe even in whole Europe. 18 nations, different nations are studying in our campus now, and sustainability not only on environmental aspects, even on intercultural and social and economics is very important in our campus. So we really are looking forward to welcome you in our program, and if industrial engineering is not that what you're interested in, maybe in one of the other programs at our European campus in Brotsack in Verkirchen, and feel free to ask and get into contact with our colleagues, or even with me or Diego. And I see Claudia Hagen-Eder and Arina Hager are online too, and we all are really trying to help as much as possible. Thank you very much for your interest, and hope to see you.
Perfect. Thank you so much for both of you for speaking today and telling us all about the program. I think it's really great that there's an internship incorporated, because so many students ask about that and ask about internships and so on. So I want to quickly hand it over. We're a little short on time now. Don't worry, we can happily take all the time we need. So our next special guest is Stefan Eghbalian, and he's going to talk about the Master of Science, which many of you were asking about the master's programs in the Q&A in industrial engineering. And for those of you who don't know, here is Kiel in the north of Germany. I'm not used to saying that because I live in Berlin, so everything is south for me, but Kiel is north for me. So he is joining us from the Kiel University of Applied Science.
Yes, hello everyone. Welcome to my little presentation about the Industrial Engineering Master Program at the University of Applied Science in Kiel. As just been mentioned, I mean, one of the unique features at our place is we are directly located at the coastline. So also for those who are fond of sailing, surfing, going to the beach, it's a nice place to be, besides doing your studies. But let me share my screen with you, and I give you some more insights into the program. So just a moment, please. So I hope you can see my screen now.
Yes, perfect.
Okay, excellent. So our Masters of Industrial Engineering. Here you can see a snapshot of our skyline in Kiel. As you see, many boats heading off to the to the North Sea, and very, very quite picturesque landscape. So our program, what is it all about? Let me take you through. First of all, what's our objective, main objective, our mission? We see ourselves as a bridge between the academia and the industrial engineering, practical industrial world. So our aim is to build, as I point out here, well-rounded, open-minded, visionary, motivated students. And we think that one of the unique features that we offer here as part of this program to deliver on that promise or on that mission is that our lecturers, our professors, they have one specific feature which unites them. I'd say most of them, if not all of them, they stem not just from a strong academic background, but they all have served as senior executives in the industry. So they know on one hand what research has to offer, what academia has basically developed in terms of theoretical concepts and models, theories. But they've also know what the limitations and what the opportunities are in applying those in a real industrial context, as they, as I say, served on as senior executives in many German and international industries, including myself, actually. So areas in terms of focus areas that we aim to specialize on. I mean, here I mentioned Industry 4.0. Really, I mean, digitization is an important part of what we look at. Sustainability, clearly also. I mean, I will mention it later. I mean, is an element that becomes more and more relevant for everything we do. But generally, I'd say technology innovations. Looking at, like, for example, we have the ability to have to build literally a virtual factory, a virtual production area for our students to be involved in it, to learn how you can conceptualize, and from the moment, from the initial idea up to the first product that is being either printed out or is being delivered in other means. So technology innovation, how this plays a role in the industrial engineering management context is clearly one of our key focus areas. Industry relevant knowledge, that's what I mentioned before, like trying to combine practical expertise with theoretical understanding, learning, thinking, being international. I think that's part of what makes this course. Like most of our students, well, we're basically students from all over the world, from Asia, from North America, from Africa, from Europe. So we're covering pretty much all continents. So it's and again, this on its own is a quite unique experience for, I think, for students to go to a place, going to Germany, and not just being surrounded by Germans, which they will be naturally here if they just go and browse around Kiel and the landscape in northern Germany, or go for visits elsewhere in Germany, but also on campus while they studying to realize that they are surrounded by people from all over the world, which is, I think, a nice experience. Beside that fact, as I mentioned before, many of our staff have been working for multinational corporations, and from that perspective, bring in a certain level of expertise, understanding on how this knowledge can be applied, and what are the boundaries of applying this kind of knowledge in a global, in an international context. Trying to looking at theory practice synergies, I think this is really one of the key features, as I've addressed before. If I put all our modules and I put them in a context, I mean, when we looked at it, and I think we can break it down into 3 stages. What we try to pass on to our students is, on one hand, how this process from pre-production, production, logistics, post-production actually works and builds on each other. When I think about pre-production, I mean, before the production even started, if you have any product or service that you come up with, or that a company wants to introduce, it has to deal with issues like management, leadership, obviously, innovation, entrepreneurship, how to start up or to set up a startup company, and how to organize these processes. So this is all things that relate to a very early stage of a company, but obviously continue to play a role as the company evolves over the life cycle. Then once it starts getting into production, or at least you start thinking of how do we turn this idea into reality, and how do we start engage and build products, then all of a sudden these kind of modules that you see here, like factory planning, how to build a factory, material flow simulation, how do I optimize material flow within the company, within this production plant, and outside becomes an issue. Material handling, as for example, as well. Post-production, now the product is out, the product is being developed, at least you have conceptualized it and started to plan the relevant processes. Then you move on and think about how to market it, how to organize the international distribution, e-business management, and also obviously very relevant, international negotiation and contracting. I mean, that's a part which, again, I mean, if you become a manager, if you start to be a manager on an international stage, you have to learn these skills. You have to understand how to negotiate, whether it's with a customer, whether it's with your suppliers, whether it's within the company, when it's about bringing up your ideas, and then how this relates to contracts that you and your company can build upon and trust that this is actually reflecting what your ideas are, what you are aiming to achieve as a result of your negotiation. And again, all of this is then embedded in what we refer to here as total quality management, controlling corporate financing, which is kind of affecting all of these three stages in that module. And in fact, that is very much what we're aiming to train you for, that you understand the process of taking an idea, taking a concept, and how this whole process works, from turning this into a successful production and distribution worldwide, and understanding all the different facets that relate to it. So basically preparing you to become a well-trained leader in this new digitized world that we all live in. Here you see how the general program is structured. You see, like at the beginning, the first and second semester, which reflect basically the first year, is here. This is where you get the lectures, you get the seminars, and you start to familiarize yourself with the various modules. It's like the theoretical groundwork that you're getting, the basis. This in the third semester, the focus is more on applying it. Here you work in the industry, you work in a company where you get to work on a project, and you're expected then to apply and then demonstrate that you can apply what you learned before on a specific task. And here you're delivering what we refer to as a industry report, which is basically like a mini thesis, if you like, focused on one specific aspect where you delivered value in this company, where you basically integrate theory with your practical experience and outcome that you delivered. And then last but not least, at the end, it concludes all in the thesis, where you take what you practiced and demonstrated in your industry report to the next level, where you're actually taking part in contributing to building knowledge at an academic level, where you're looking for research gaps in the field, and you're working on doing your own research in filling this research gap with your contribution. This is what you do in the last semester. So that's very much the overall structure of the program. Here is a brief outline, which I'm sure you can have a closer look to also at a later stage when you click at the link that you will see at the end of this presentation, which tells you a little bit about the different modules that we're introducing, which we are also talking about on our website. But this is, as I say, this is just a glimpse, like as you can see, from total quality management, innovation, entrepreneurship, international negotiation, information systems management. So various fields that all kind of link to the idea of giving you the knowledge necessary to become a successful manager in a field that tries to take engineering products, results of engineering work, and turn them into successful products. Elective courses, as I say, one of our elective courses is indeed Sustainable Strategy and Management. This is looking in it, taking the perspective that all you're seeing, again, throughout this value chain that I just described, and looking at it from a sustainable perspective, how this is being affected by it, and what can you do, in fact, to turn a company into a sustainable company. Admission criteria, what are we expecting from you? Well, beside being highly motivated and open-minded, we're expecting that you have completed a Bachelor of Engineering. So it could be in any field, any engineering field, or alternatively, any natural science discipline that has a clear applied science focus. So average mark of at least good, according to German standards, it's a 2.5 at a minimum. Proven English proficiency, because this program is also it's solely based on you speaking English. So you expect there's no German element in it. So you can, as I say, even as a non-German speaker, you can easily go through this course because that's all you need to do in terms of language skills. However, we also encourage, when you're in Germany, to also familiarize yourself, use this opportunity to learn, experience German, the language, as well as the culture, but it's not a necessity to successfully go through that course. What we're also expecting is a certain level of practical experience. So this is work that you have done outside your studies. So you can have done it while you were a student at your previous program, and or after. So, but at least we want that those who apply for this course, they not just know in theory what the field is like in working in a company, working in a corporate environment, but they also have experienced it themselves. The degree that you when you successfully go through all of this, then you will be awarded a Master of Science degree. We are, of course, a fully accredited master program. Language, as I mentioned before, English. Duration 4 semesters, 120 credits in total. And students intake per year, it does not exceed 35 to 40. Normally we try to keep it around 30, but again, it will certainly, we had years also where it was higher, but it's a relatively limited number of students that we're working with. The total fee for this is €9,900 for a 2-year program. And the application deadlines, you can apply for the summer semester as well as for the winter semester. So 2 times a year you can apply for this course. And especially for foreign students, that's why we put in those dates here, which are relatively early, because it's the for all, but you will hear more about it probably in the context of this presentation, that you have to go through a standardized process, which is called Uni Assist, where you can apply for it. You say, I want to go to University of Applied Science Kiel. And so there is a kind of a administrative process that they will take you through, all in English, obviously. You find also more information here on this website. And there's one final aspect that I'd like to highlight. What's also very specific about our program, that it is what we refer to as blended research or blended learning. And you may be familiar with this term or not, but what it basically means is that we're combining like online learning with presence, like presence learning. So you are expected to be there at present, go to lectures, go to seminars, but there's also a very strong online element to it. So it's a split between, it's kind of, we consider it as an ideal kind of combination. You can do a lot while you're at home or anywhere else. So we have a lot of students who, because even students that they're working while they're doing their studies, because we focus all our presence phases, seminars, we focus them on weekends. So the weekends are fully booked when you take this course, but during the week, you have then time to study either in the library at Kiel or at any other place. So it happens, as I say, it's not unusual that students of us that they work in a company and then they get being sent to another country, and then they can still continue. They fly in maybe for the weekend courses. There are various ways to take part in that course, but that's, again, there's certainly a flexible element built in the program as a result of that. Yeah, looking forward to you joining our program. And if you need more information, please feel free to contact me, or as I said before, just click on the link and you'll find more information as you would probably expect. Looking forward to seeing you soon. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much. For those of you who are interested in the program, I just posted the link that he had on the previous slide. So you can just copy it there and open it in a separate tab. Don't worry about screenshotting everything. Go ahead and open it right up. You do have some questions in the Q&A, a lot of them about eligibility requirements. So students, again, please go to the link for eligibility requirements. In Germany, these are pretty, I would say in German, streng. They're not very flexible. So take a look at them. If you think you're in some gray area with your English certificate or what have you, sure, you can reach out for the contact info. But very quickly, thank you so much again. And thank you for highlighting that German is very important, even though the program is fully in German. I really appreciate that. Some students think, I mean, sure, you can get away without German depending on the city you live in, but it's still pretty important, especially for job prospects. Quickly, I will hand it over to our last guest speaker. Thank you again, and you can take a look at some of the questions in the Q&A, so we can do that for the Q&A session that we have shortly, and we'll go ahead and hand it over to our next guest speaker from our final university. So let me quickly go ahead and do that. And very quickly, a brief overview. So we're going to now chat with Professor Dr. Jens Wollenweber, and he's going to talk about a Master of Engineering and Technical Management. And for those of you who are not as familiar with Wildau and where that is, again, for those of you not familiar with a German map, besides Berlin and Munich, it is in the northeast of Germany here, you can see. So I will go ahead and hand it over.
Yeah, Jasmine, thank you very much for the introduction and for inviting me to talk today about our Master in Technical Management. Yeah, I'm Professor Jens Wollenweber. I'm the degree program director of this master program, Technical Management. This is a pretty new master program. We've started this in 2018. And now we have the fourth intake this year, and yeah, I would be happy to show you some of our details. Yeah, actually, you already showed the map of Germany. Wildau, very close to Berlin, combines the yeah, different advantages. We have the capital of Germany very close by. It's just a short ride by local train to Berlin, and Wildau itself is a pretty small town, around 6,000 or 7,000 citizens, and our entire university is a campus university. Here you see one of our buildings. It's a very nice location. It's the place where we formerly had a production of trains or locomotives in particular, and so this is a kind of historic site we have there. This is yeah, renovated like you see here, and we are a small university of applied sciences. We have run about 100 professors, around 4,000 students, different master and bachelor programs. And I would say our main advantages are that we have a very practice-oriented curriculum. So we are very closely related to corporations with companies. We have here around Berlin. We have a lot of nicely equipped labs there, and also some innovative courses in our program. Yeah, here you can see some pictures. Of course, we are doing all the stuff you already heard. We are doing a lot of excursions. We have a lot of laboratory activity. For instance, on the lower left picture, you can see our intralogistics labs, where we have a lot of warehousing equipment, which we use in our courses. We are using innovative and state-of-the-art software for different tasks, and I think the study conditions are pretty nice here at our university. The master program technical management is basically a consecutive master, so we are mainly focusing on students who have already a bachelor degree in industrial engineering, in logistics, or in a transportation related major. This master program provides a Master of Engineering, and it's a short master program. We have a 3-semester course with 35 places every year, and as the other courses we heard about today, it's a course which is held entirely in English. The name, as you might have already noticed, is not industrial engineering, it's technical management, because we are focusing on an education which enables our students to be highly qualified interdisciplinarians who have knowledge in different fields, like in the mathematical field, in technical fields, in management, in information systems. And since we are focusing on this different groups of graduates, we think that our master program provides an integrative understanding of different tasks, and also enables our graduates to overtake management roles pretty soon after their graduation. Here you can see the basic structure of our course. Since we have a 3-semester course which provides 90 credit points, 90 ECTS, we have an entry level of 210 credit points. So bachelor graduates must provide a bachelor degree with 210 credit points. And after graduating in technical management, they will have 300 credits in total, which is the entry level for a PhD study. We have our intakes always in the summer semester. In the summer semester, all of our students have joint courses, so there we don't differentiate between different specializations. But in the second semester and in the third semester, we offer three different specializations. We have a specialization in production, in logistics, and in transportation. I will show you some of the modules and the course details later on. Maybe some words about our courses here. As I already told you, we have a consecutive master. That means that we assume that our students have also some knowledge in production and logistics, in management when they enter in our master course. And in the first semester, we are focusing on 3 topics. We have a topic which is our optimization topic, where we are talking about mathematical optimization operations research. A second course on advanced management techniques. we have observed that students have basic knowledge about project management, but this knowledge has to be deepened, and this is something we are doing in this second course. Also, we have topics in business process optimization and simulation and visualization. The third and maybe most interesting course is the design, engineering, and management course. In this course, we are doing a project. We have in our university an entire model factory, the so-called Wildauer Maschinenwerke. In this model factory, we are building small trucks, the trucks which can be equipped in different ways. And this model factory is the topic of this third module, where we have have mainly the goal of modeling and optimizing an entire company on the example of our model company we have in the university. So this is the first semester, and then we split into 3 different specializations: logistics, production, and transportation. These specializations are open to everybody. So if you graduated in industrial engineering, you have the choice of picking one of the 3. So you are not limited to the production specialization only. For instance, you can also pick our logistics or transportation specialization. So industrial, or let me say some words about the specialization. Production specialization mainly focuses on deepening your knowledge in this field. So it's continuing the studies of industrial engineering. Basically, in logistics, we are also focusing on stuff like cargo transportation. We are focusing on technology, transportation technologies, which are up to date and maybe a subject of further development. So this is our logistics specialization, and then the transportation specialization. We have a broad amount of modules which are both handling with cargo transportation and also public and individual person transportation. So this is the third specialization, and you are free to choose one of the 3. We have no explicit practical phase, but in our third semester, where you are writing your master's thesis, you can do this master thesis in cooperation with a company. This is what maybe 50, 60, 70% of our students choose, and we have also the opportunity to have more scientific related master theses. So for instance, I have a research group on transportation logistics. We are doing research in the fields of for instance, city logistics, for instance, in the field of wood and bioenergy logistics. And so if you think that you want to continue with a PhD, for instance, then it would be a good idea to have a more scientific related master thesis. But the other opportunity, of course, is to do, for instance, an internship in a company. You might know one of the big companies, which is hopefully opening their production plant very soon, is Tesla. But we have also other big players in the region, like Mercedes, like BMW, like Siemens, and so you have here also the choice of finding the proper path, of doing more practical work or more scientific related work here. I think I'm trying. I've read all of your questions so far, and I think I will answer all of your questions during my talk. Just one question which is here, which I could directly answer, is the oral defense. So this is yeah, you have to present your master thesis in a short presentation, 15 to 20 minutes, and then we will have a defense where you have to answer questions basically related on your master thesis and on the yeah, subject you had during your studies. So this is meant by oral defense. Okay, so let's keep on the admission, or let's go to the admission requirements. Yeah, we have pretty strict admission requirements. So at first you have to provide a bachelor degree of 210 credit points ECTS. If you have a bachelor in logistics, industrial engineering, or in a transportation related field, then you have pretty good chances to get admitted. We have a catalog of modules you should have yeah, passed during your bachelor studies. I can show you these modules, but they are also provided on our website. So if these modules are covered by your bachelor studies, then this admission requirement is fine. I always get a lot of applications or questions where people talk about their professional job experience. Of course, we know professional job experience is important, but it's actually no admission requirement. So if you have this professional job experience, yeah, this is unfortunately no advantage for the admission process. Second, we need a command of very good English. So we have the limit of the C1 level of our European framework of reference for languages. We have a lot of different certificates we accept here, and the certificates you can also read on our website. And if you did already your bachelor studies partly or completely in English, then this would be also good for this admission requirement. As my colleagues before also had a focus on the German language skill. Of course, it's really good and really helpful if you have some German language skills, at least for mastering everyday's life. But for the admission process, we do not need any German language skills. So the English language skills are sufficient. But yeah, of course, when you live in Germany, then German language skills are sometimes very helpful. As I told you, the intake is always in the summer semester, so the application period is pretty short. It's from December 15 to January 15 every year. And if you are an international student, then you have to apply using UniAssist. UniAssist will revise and evaluate your bachelor certificate. And sometimes we know this, that even if you have from your own university an amount of 210 or more credits, UniAssist will not accept this, but they will shrink your number of credits. This is something which can only be found out when you apply using UniAssist. I cannot give you a definite answer to this question, but yeah, basically, at least you have to show this 210 credit points here. Our university does not have any tuition fees, so we only have a semester fee of around about 320 euros in this semester fee. Also, our ticket for the public transport in the metropolitan area of Berlin is included, so you can you can use it for public transport. So this is something you might need, and therefore it's helpful to have this ticket already with your admission here. Okay, so this should be everything which I wanted to tell you about our technical management program. If you have more questions, you have here my contact data, or you can also find my contact data with our from our university website. Maybe one or two questions which I see here in the chat, which I can answer very quickly. So, is there any bachelor in English in Wildau? Unfortunately, no. We do not have any bachelor in English. So we have an industrial engineering bachelor, we have a logistics bachelor, but these bachelor programs are in German. So we have only this master program here in English. Our master program is a full-time program, so we see that you will have during the lecture periods, you have a lot of work to do. You have a lot of lectures to attend. Many of our students work part-time. Some of them work like 10 hours a week. Some of them we work even 20 hours a week. But basically, this master program is a full-time program. You need only 3 semesters, and for this you have to focus on your studies. You can work, but your main focus should be your studies. So here are just the recognized English certificates. I don't want to go into details. You can find them on our webpage. And here are the different fields, the different modules which you should provide 5 of these modules or similar modules on your bachelor program to get admission at our university. If you meet this admission requirements, mainly the English and also the content related requirements, then we have currently no limitations. So if you meet this requirement, you will get admission here. Okay, so that should be everything I wanted to tell you today. And if we have more questions or time for discussion, I would be happy to answer further questions. Thanks.
Perfect. So first off, thank you to all of our guest speakers for talking about their study programs and for also already answering some of the questions. We're receiving so many questions in the Q&A, so thank you so much for also answering those. For someone who's asking about PhD programs, we're not talking about that today in particular, but if any of the guest speakers want to talk about that, they are more than welcome to. So I want to take a look at the Q&A section, and I'm going to break down some topics here. So first, I've seen a lot about eligibility requirements, which has been outlined already in all of the presentations and is on the course websites of every single program. So I don't want to go too in depth about that. There was also discussion on maybe some overlap, like if you don't have one particular degree, if you have something similar where you can demonstrate that you have sufficient comprehension skills in order to partake in the program, that's fine. But I will take one eligibility requirement question. So someone is asking, they have a bachelor's degree in industrial physics, and they want to know if they would qualify for either of the master's programs in industrial engineering. I think that was already answered for a different student, but if either of you want to answer with the master's programs, if a bachelor's degree in industrial physics would be sufficient. I think it just depends on the course modules that student has, and you'd have to check your degree with the ANABIN database. But if either of the guest speakers wants to chime in from the master's programs, that'd be great.
Well, I can definitely say this would be applicable for our industrial engineering program at Kiel. As I said, any kind of natural science or engineering program would meet the requirement in that respect. So that should also fall into that category.
Okay, again, someone is asking pure and applied physics. I think that's fine, right? I mean, I don't know, so I'm asking you.
Yeah. That should be fine.
Okay, and again, students, the eligibility requirements, they are listed, but when it comes to the particular degree that you have, you can check and see if your degree is valid in the ANABIN database and how it's recognized here in Germany, and to see if for bachelor's programs, if you need to do a Studienkolleg or a foundation or preparatory course, you can check all of that on the ANABIN database. And as well, I'm sure on the university website, for example, for the bachelor's with Deggendorf. And also for those of you who are asking, several of you asked about language requirements. So everyone touched on language requirements. Though I think Deggendorf did have something that I found interesting, which is language incorporated already as part of the modules in their program. But for students who are interested in knowing how important German is in terms of job prospects or finding an internship, or especially for this, this module where they do a project with maybe a partner company, maybe if anyone can elaborate from any of our guest speakers today about how important German is, whether it's finding a job or an internship, traineeship, anything like this.
Well, what I can say is that clearly, I mean, if your interest is in looking specifically for purely German operating company, then it's certainly, I would say it's very critical. However, we have a lot of our students, they work for multinational German corporations, whether it's Daimler-Benz, Fraport, or there are various, as I say, probably many of those companies you'd know by yourself. But for those, I think some of our students who are now, their German is very rudimentary, and they got positions there. And often what happens is that they're going through a trainee, and they're being then sent to international locations for the German company. So I think it's really depending on what your target is, your target company, or what your expectation is. If your expectation is, no, I want to work in Germany for a German company, of course. But many German companies these days have international offices. So if you position yourself well for these positions, I think it should be fine.
Yeah, that's a really great point for students not to be so panicked, and they should learn a little bit of German. I think it's important to have a foundation, as you said before, but they don't have to panic about maybe not finding a job. Maybe it might hinder them a little bit, but there will be options for them. Speaking on that, I want that to take us to our next question that I see in the Q&A, which is related. Of course, students are concerned with, well, what happens after the degree program? Do I just get kicked out, or what happens after that? So students should know that if you graduate from a German university, you are eligible for an 18-month visa where you can stay in Germany after the completion of your studies in order to find a job in your field. And the important part is here, in your field. So you can't just get a job as a barista at a cafe and stay here on the visa. That's not how it works. It has to be in your field, and you have to demonstrate that it connects to your studies. And then you can stay here after that. You have 18 months to find a job. So someone is asking here, what is the average or the minimum, I think income is what they mean, or starting salary. I don't think you have those, any of you have those statistics. I mean, I wouldn't have them ready, but maybe if you can just speak off the top of your head, general knowledge about students that you know from programs or graduates, generally what types of jobs they find, maybe how long it takes them to find a job, medium range salary? Maybe you don't have those details, but maybe just some general knowledge about that. Students seem worried about finding a job. For
so
anyone.
maybe the question of finding a job. Basically, I have the experience that every graduate finds an appropriate job pretty soon. So when I see my graduates, if there is someone searching for more than 3 months after his graduation, then there is something not standard. So I have more students which have already a job before finishing their master thesis. So the employability is pretty high in this field, I would say. About the money, I can't tell you any real numbers, but I think it's more than sufficient normally.
Okay, great. Does anyone else from any of the other study programs want to talk about employability, job prospects, money, how long it takes to find a job, anything like this, or several questions about it? Yeah, someone asked specifically minimum salary. I think we don't have that information. So minimum salary is a bit optimistic to have. But as you heard, in terms of employability for this field in particular, it's great if you speak maybe more languages. It's also great depending on the languages that are needed and where you want to apply the type of company. If you have a German foundation in terms of German skills, or even if you don't. So it looks like there's still some chance. I'm going to take just one more question here, because I think the questions that are left, we have 7. We've already answered all of them, or most of them in detail when it comes to eligibility requirements. A lot of students are concerned about GPA in particular. So I know for some of the programs, GPA was listed explicitly, I think 2.5 for one of them. So maybe take a look. I would recommend at the course websites directly, just so you can have everything in one place. They are posted in the chat section. And as well for someone who's asking about admission with bachelor's in, is this mechanical engineering? I think so. So please take a look at the course websites for the entry requirements. And the final question that I will ask, oh, I think it was just answered. Okay, so when it comes to partnering with companies, so I saw one of the study programs has a particular course module, and it's more, I think, like a practical module where they can partner with a company. Is there assistance with finding that? Is it incorporated into the program? Are students kind of left on their own to seek out for their project and to find a partner company who to do that with, or are there partner companies that are usually working with the study programs always? For anyone.
So in our program, we don't have any mandatory practical courses, but for instance, if student wants to write a practical-oriented master thesis, then of course we are asking the student first to search by him or herself, because the student knows best his or her own preferences. But we have also a lot of companies where we have regular master theses, couple of master theses every year. And if there's a certain interest, we will make the connection, the link between student and company.
Perfect. And for other programs, is it mandatory, or is there assistance if it isn't?
Well, in our case, it's mandatory. Like, but what often happens is that either students make recommendations to each other, like those who already work in the company. They, as I say, using their network, basically, they attract those, and sometimes the other professors use their network So I would say it's more informal. We don't have like formal partnership. We have some companies that frequently send their students to us, and that's clearly happening. And otherwise, I'd say it's normally, as I say, students don't have a problem finding these kind of companies for their industry projects or for their thesis. But I think, as I say, it's mainly done through informal channels here.
Yeah. I mean, for students who are worried about it, I mean, I studied a completely different field, but internships were not required for my master's program, but plenty of students did an internship anyways. And once you're in Germany, again, connections through students, it's a little bit easier to find a connection and to reach out for internships or traineeships and so on. So we have 5 questions here left. They're about eligibility requirements. I want to encourage you to look at the course websites because we are a little over our time. So I want to go ahead and wrap up today's webinar and take time to thank all of our guest speakers today and all of the additional support we had, whether it was from additional faculty or students who were talking about the experiences. Thank you so much for being here and for talking about your study programs and for giving information to students. I hope students who are watching or future students that you took advantage of this unique opportunity to be able to connect with potential study programs and universities. So you have all of the contact information. It was shared in the chat section, all of the course websites. So open them up in separate tabs. Very quickly before we end the webinar, we will send a follow-up email in the next maybe week or so with the presentation from the presentations from today's webinars for those universities who share them, as well as contact information and the links to the course websites, again, to remind you if you were going to apply or if you already applied, to check on the status and to finish your application. So thank you again, everyone. And for those of you who are familiar with our webinars, please join us in the next one. And guest speakers, if you have just a quick 5 minutes, I'd appreciate seeing you. I just sent the link in the chat section in a very quick feedback round. So thank you, everybody. Have a wonderful day. Bye-bye.